Okay, so good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I have about 30 minutes with you, and my topic is what are CEO expectations from talent acquisition, or TA, the function. Okay, that's what I'm going to talk about, and what gives me the right to talk about it here in front of you, who are all recruiters, who are all excellent HR people, etc. I've run companies for more than 17 years doing CEO roles. And I've been involved in a lot of transformation with respect to talent acquisition. I've been involved with a lot of transformation with companies. And I've recognized that talent is possibly one of the key pillars of doing anything in an organization. Okay, so that's the reason I'm here. What I'm going to talk to you about today has nothing to do with theory. Okay, so all that I'm going to share with you over the next 20 odd slides is my personal experiences and what I've learned from it. Okay, so this has worked for me. This is what I've seen, and I offer you my perspective. It's for you to take it or reject it. You are the master of that decision. Okay, that makes sense? Okay, let's go. First, what I'm going to cover for you today is the whole concept of the employer and the employee. That equation or relationship is no longer what it was in the past. I don't know how many people actually recognize this. And I don't know actually how many people have internalized it and have thought to themselves, maybe there's a different game in town. Maybe we need to do something else. It's very much like, how many of you are parents today? All of you. The child of today is very different from the child of 15 years ago. The parent-child relationship is a very different relationship today. It's exactly the same in an organization. The employee-employer relationship is dramatically different than it was ever before. Then I'll talk about the attributes. What do people look for in joining a company in India? This data is from Randstad last year. And what do people value? Okay. Then we'll talk about advertising. How are hiring ads these days? What do they say? Then we'll talk about CVs. How are CVs these days? What are they saying? And then what I call CX, which is the candidate experience. What is the candidate experience today that I hear? I read about on LinkedIn, I read about it in magazines like People Matters, and I learn about it through sheer interaction. And finally, I give you a few of my suggestions, not just to TA, but a broader question of talent. Okay, not just acquisition. This is what I'm going to cover for you over the next 20-25 minutes. First up, talent acquisition, development, and retention. Consistently figure in the top 5 concerns or top 5 areas to focus on for every CEO and for every company. There's not a single list that I've seen where this is not there. This is either number 2 or number 3. Number 1 invariably is growth. Growth is number 1. Talent is number 2, regulatory framework, etc. is number 3. That's how people, cost base is number 4. Being ready for the future is number 5. Okay, it just alters up and down. But talent is front and square, a top 5 agenda item. So you can't get away from it. So is talent important either to a CEO or a company? You absolutely bet it is. So there's no doubt on that. So that hypothesis we lay to rest. So there's no debate whether it's on or not on. However, as I mentioned, the equation between the employer and the employee has changed irrevocably in the last 10 years. In the last 10 years specifically. Neither of them are committed long term to each other. Now, good or bad is a different matter, but that's the truth. Okay, so I tell people, and a lot of people ask me this, I tell them very honestly and very squarely, even in the companies where I was CEO, I tell them, be loyal to the company as long as the company is loyal to you. Okay, both sides, you're very, very clear. It's an adult equation. You be loyal as long as the company is loyal. The day you feel that the company is not loyal to you, you have your own avenues open. Okay, I think that is a free market of talent today. And I think we need to recognize that. And talent acquisition managers, more than anybody else, should recognize that. Nobody is looking for a job saying, I will be here for 15 years. Nobody. If you tell anybody you'll do this job for 15 years or you'll be in this company for 15 years, they'll really think you're loco, that you don't understand today's talent. Okay? So that's number one. It's no longer a commitment beyond a few years. Next, I believe that all employees have talent of some shape or the other. But the catch is, not all talent produces results. Employees are talented in their own way, but that talent does not produce results for you. So I come from a school of thought that all employees are talented. You need to align them, you need to coach them, you need to build them up if they need to produce results. They have some talent in them. Not everybody produces results. You obviously have a bunch of employees who produce a lot more, and you have a bunch of people who produce a lot less and actually sap the organization. So that's the next point for you. Next, I define you will have active talent and you will have what I call passive talent. Active talent are people who are always learning, who are seeking new opportunities. Equally, active talent are people who are grooming talent. So that's the virtuous cycle you get when you have what I call active talent. They are the greatest help to CEOs and the board and the management team because they themselves take care of building the next layer. So they are active about their own learning, they are active about developing talent. On the other hand, you have a passive bunch who say, nothing can change. Nothing will change in this company, nothing can change with me. And equally, even if you put a talented person under that talented person gets disheartened because they do not actually encourage new talent development. So you have active talent who actively push learning, actively push development of talent, and you have passive talent who just don't do it. Now, when you are a CEO or when you are a talent acquisition manager or whatever you are, CHRO, you have to recognize that there are two bunches of people. If you do not recognize that, you will treat everybody in the organization as the first bunch and you will end up a failure. So all CHROs, all talent acquisition people, please remember this. Not everybody is a talent champion in your company. Few people are, not everyone. Next, what do Indians look for in a job? 6 attributes. Top of the list, salary and benefits, 46%, 48%. Work-life balance, number 2, 44%. Number 3, job security, 42%. Career progression, number 4, 39%. Strong management, as displayed by leadership, their capability, their thought leadership. Strong management, 39%. Financial health of company, 34%. These are the top 6 as ranked by Randstad last year in the survey in India. Okay. Next, why do people stay in a company? Number 1 is job security, 45%. Number 2 is salary and benefits, 42%. So number 1 reason why people stay in company in India today is job security. So if you are not able to provide many signals of job security, they will not stay. Many companies are going through transformation. The moment a CEO says we are in transformation, people fear the worst. People fear the worst and promptly they have sent their CV. Khadak, next minute. Saying, I don't know what will happen. Why? Job security. So it's a big challenge that as you transform, how do you guarantee people? Nobody can give a guarantee. But how do you tell people that there are enough jobs for you to grow into? Not an easy thing for a CEO or a CHRO or a talent acquisition manager. Okay, job security is front and center, number 1 in this country. 2 reasons why people stay. Why do people leave? 2 reasons why people leave a company in India. Number 1, no career path. Half of them, 43%. Number 2, actually a poor number 2, compensation, 28%. So number 1 is people say, I have a block in front of me. I don't see where my next promotion is coming. I don't see where my next role definition is going to happen. Okay? And I think if you truly want to attract talent, you truly want to keep talent, you have to think about this carefully. Next, these are ads which were released by Tata Click last week, I think, or this week. What's unique about these ads, and that's why I picked them, is that all the models are their employees. All the models are company employees. All 4 of them are company employees, Tata Click employees. Okay? And they're talking about busting basic things. What's injurious to your holidays? Smoking. Extra benefits for non-smokers in our company. Nobody's tried that before. Okay. Now let's meet those who don't care about work-life balance. Encourage work-life harmony. That lady there. Even if you dump us, there's no love loss, seriously. Ex-employee connect. Alumni. We love transparency so much, we make it uncomfortable. Transparent ethos. Everybody says they love transparency. Yeah? There's not a company on this planet I know who says we are not transparent. Nobody. Okay. But there are shades and opacity of transparency, right? That's what you should think about. Okay. So these are Tata Click ads. But now let me give you a flavor of the general ads that I see when people want to recruit other people. Okay. From companies. Let's look at this. A typical hiring ad says the following, what they say. Number one, in this job you'll impact millions of people. Big promise. In this job, you take this job, whatever it is, you'll impact millions of people. Number two, you'll have end-to-end ownership. I don't know what that means, I'll still figure out, okay? End-to-end ownership. Number three, we want a get things done attitude person. A guy who's just buzzing with energy. Number four, we are a meritocratic organization. Okay, nowadays you actually have to say it. Okay. Number five, we have a phenomenal work environment. Everybody is on first name basis. This is what people say. Now what do they mean? And I'm trying to figure out what do they mean. And I've put what they mean on the right hand side. I don't know how many of you read a magazine called Mad Magazine. Okay. What they say, what they meant. Okay. So that's what I'm going to play for you. Let's look at this. When they say in this job you'll impact millions of people, it means influencing here is a challenge. When they say you'll have end-to-end ownership, many others own part of this end-to-end. That's what they mean. Third, we want a get things done attitude, which means don't ask me for help, no spoon feeding. You're on your own. We have dumped you into the water, you're on your own, don't ask for help. There's no coach, no mentor. Number four, we are a meritocratic organization. This is merit basis our definition. We have a definition of merit, which is different from your understanding. That's what it is. And the last one, we have a phenomenal work environment. Everyone is on first name basis. Don't worry, we call each other names behind the back. So this is a typical hiring ad. Now tell me, if you are a 25-year-old, would you get turned on by that ad? Utter junk. Utter junk. But we persist in it. And I seriously want to challenge the talent acquisition people, the CHROs and the CEOs. If you put such junk out, why will you get talent? Now, if we did, I've handled more than 50 brands in my life. If we put junk advertising on our brands, why will consumers buy our brands? It's the same with you. You are a brand. Your company is a brand. So please think deep and hard about the communication around your hiring process. You're not thinking deep enough, is my first point, and so please change that. Next, CVs have become commoditized and outsourced. Okay, there's a standard template. There are people who will write it for you. Okay, you send it, you gather a bunch of words, throw in and around, dynamic, go-getter, this getter, that getter, and suddenly you have a CV. Okay, when I see CVs today, whenever I have the opportunity, I see a sea of sameness. There's nothing which differentiates the CV. You know, that's the state we are in. Earlier when I saw CVs, when I was a CEO first time around in 2003-04, I could actually pick out good CVs from bad ones. Today, guys who have a good CV have commoditized themselves by following a format. That's what's happened. It's a big challenge today. CVs are commoditized, outsourced, somebody else is writing. It's just a bunch of words put together. For any job, you have the same words. For any job, you have the same skills. For any job, you have the same capabilities. That's what I mean by commoditized. But that's what I see today. Okay? What are the common CV mistakes that I see today in every single CV that flies past my table? Number one, most CVs are copies of job description. A CV has become a job description. So this is my job, he has dutifully followed it, dutifully copied it. That's not a CV. There's a JD and there's a CV. Most people have confused pasting the JD onto a CV. That's what they've done, number one. Number two, very pompous. I find a sales manager who says, I launched this brand in the market. I launched this brand in the country. I say, look, you launched means you took it to the distributor and put it in the market, right? That's all, right? In my idea, launch means somebody who conceptualized something, did the whole works and put it. But everybody in the chain, from the CEO of the company to the sales guy in the company have launched this product, have launched this software, have launched this program in the marketplace. Everybody has launched. Okay? Carrying the baton is not launch. This is the mistake I see again and again. Number 3, mostly inputs. Worked on this, worked on that. There is nothing called an output. Most of the CVs do not have impact in the job. I was a sales manager. What did I achieve? Okay. I was a CEO. What did I impact? There's no impact on CVs. These are the 4 common mistakes I see in every CV in the last 2-3 years. In every CV. Okay? So this is what I call common CV mistakes. So the challenge for all of you, how do you locate the jewel CV in a sea of junk CVs? That's your real challenge. If you want to start attracting talent, you have 1,000 before you. How do you know this is the CV? Very difficult. Artificial intelligence will help you, somebody else will help you, all that is fine. But our big challenge today is segregating junk CVs and picking out the jewels from that list. That's our first and biggest challenge. Okay? And I'm sure that many of you have enough experience in that. Next, candidate experience. Okay? These are candidate experience with companies. Number 1, too slow, too many layers. You are recruiting for a sales guy, there are 6 people waiting to see him. 6 people. His boss, his peer, his somebody, everybody. Okay? Every man and his dog wants to interview anybody who is joining the company. That's exactly the problem. You have to recognize who is needed for what. Too many guys. Second, interview rarely starts on time. In how many of your companies do you think interviews start on time? So here's the answer. So I was spot on. There are less than 10% of the hands going up. That, ladies and gentlemen, is in your control. There's no point about talking about talent acquisition if you don't get our basics right. Remember, the guy who's come for the job, it's a big deal for him. Starting on time. He's anxious. He's nervous. He wants to start on time, end on time. He's looking for this job. You call him at 10 o'clock and meet him at 12 or 1. What does he think of your company? Pretty little. Then why are you surprised when on Glassdoor you get bad ratings? Because that's exactly what he's feeding into Glassdoor. Because his experience says, I don't want to join this company. It's a bad company. If he's desperate, he might. But if he has a choice, he will always go with a company which has treated him with respect and has treated his time with respect. Number 3, blow hot, blow cold after the interview is over. Nobody knows. Radio silence. The guy is calling, next point, calling the TA manager desperately. TA manager doesn't pick up the phone. Just doesn't pick up the phone. Why? The TA manager thinks in his or her mind, I put a candidate, now it's up to the hiring manager or somebody else to close the issue, not me. But the fact is, for the candidate, you are the be-all and end-all. He can't reach anybody else. He can't call the hiring manager, he can't call the CEO, he can't call the CHRO. So if a TA manager is not answering the call, who do you think is responsible? So blow hot, blow cold, radio silence, no answer. And the other thing which candidates say is that the interviewees, irrespective of the level, are very ill prepared. A lot of people say, Shiv, the guy hasn't read my CV. He just walked in blind just to look at my face. Why did I send my CV? If you truly want good talent, you have to give it that process the due respect. Every person I've interviewed, I know the CV, I promise you. I know the CV better than that person. I will tell him, in this year you did this. Why? Explain this to me. Why is there a break? I read it top to bottom, highlight it, put my comments down and say, these are the things I'm going to probe him about. That is respect for the individual. Whether you hire him or not is a different matter. But the fact that you've taken care to read and come and engage in a fruitful dialogue with him is actually good. So the whole TA process today, if I were to list that, from a candidate perspective, who is our customer, is broken. Now, we can't get phenomenal talent results if we don't follow a simple process. So I would tell all of you, I would request all of you, set your process right. This is the truth out there. We need to accept the truth and we need to act on it. If we act on it, we'll get talent. If we don't act on it, we don't deserve to get talent. My suggestion stroke experience. My last 5-6 slides for you. Number one, to talented people in this room. Now, you will also be in the job market. You rarely get a job when you need it. That's the sad truth of life. When you need the job is not there. And you get so many jobs when you don't need it. Sad truth of life. But what does it mean for TA? All talented people you've not hired, keep a tab with them. Be in touch with them every 6 months. Trust me, the tide will turn your way. Because they will need a job whatever point of time, and if you've been in touch with them, they will reach out to you. You are their first port of call. Okay? So talented people, don't be snobbish. Everybody has a rainy day. Okay? It will happen to all of us. Next, update your CV every 6 months. I cannot tell you the number of CVs which are not updated. Update CV every 6 months, and as talent acquisition managers, please ask people to update their CV every time you talk to them. Have you updated your CV? Send me the latest CV. Don't send me last year's CV. Tell me what you've done in the last 6 months. These are all parts of good talent management. Second suggestion to HR leaders and CEOs, update job descriptions and send them to every employee every year on January 1. I used to insist on doing this. Pavitra is here from PepsiCo. Every company I have run, on the 1st of January, I used to insist that the HR department send the job description to the employee. You know why? We see job descriptions when we join a company. We don't even see it when we are promoted to a new job. We just say, yeah, I roughly know what the job is, I go. In a fast-changing world, the job description has to change every year. There will be aspects of the job description which will change. So, this is the second thing that I would urge you to do, of both growing talent and acquiring talent. Third, all TA managers must be conversant with the business strategy and must have an idea of what the people strategy or talent strategy is. Talent strategy must be linked to your business strategy. So, for example, if you are saying, I want to digitize the organization, but you are not going to get digitally savvy people into your company, then there's no good to have that strategy and not align with the new capabilities you need. Okay? So, this is the next one. Number 4, have one interview, please, when you call a candidate. Don't have 6 layers. I've tried this in many of my companies, it works. So, I tell everybody, whoever is to interview, guys, let's all sit together in a room, call the candidate, 1 hour interview, all of us feel the elephant in whichever way we want. But at the end of 1 hour, we have a debate, we agree, disagree, this is it, employ him, don't employ him, or close. There's a huge merit in all of you sitting and doing it together. Because quite often, what one person misses, the other person will pick. There's a great merit in this. Okay? And every time we've done this, it's been extremely successful. Extremely successful. Because getting 6 appointments has at least 3 to 6 months on time frame. Getting 1 appointment of all people, you'll be able to close it in a month or 2. So if you want to short circuit time, this is one process you need to change. Get all the decision makers in the room, one go, end of story. Next, to TA manager, give clear and actionable feedback to candidate as to why he is selected or rejected. I would actually go one step forward. I know some people are scared of it, but I would actually say put it in writing and send it to him. Even better. So that there's absolutely no doubt what you found right, what he needs to improve on. Because when I talk to candidates who've been rejected in the companies that I have worked in, and I speak to the hiring manager or the TA person, the stories are very different. It's amazing. Okay, if you actually told him the truth, you would gain a lot of brownie points, and more important, you will make him a better person. We just don't tell people why we selected somebody or why we rejected somebody. I think we have a moral obligation and duty to do that in a future world. What are the metrics that I want you to think about? TA metrics. The bad metrics that hurt your employee value proposition. Resignations of high performers. When high performers in your company quit, it hurts your ability to acquire talent. Second, high waiting time for promotions. When people say, yeah, I've been doing this job for 5 years, this company doesn't promote me, it will hurt you in the market. Number 3, headcount more than plan will hurt because the outside news will be, there are too many people to do too few things in that company. Low span of control. When there's low span of control, then there's a huge overlap between the manager and the subordinate. That again gets out. And finally, when recruitment cost is high. In PepsiCo specifically, in the 4 years, and Pavitra is here, we stopped using headhunters. We went from 100 spent to 0. And I used to joke with her that, the headhunters won't contact you now if there's a job for you, because you've not given them business. Okay, but thanks to digital, we didn't need to use headhunters. Thanks to LinkedIn, thanks to X, Y, Z, reference, etc., referral, we didn't need to use headhunters anymore. Not at all. Okay, almost all our recruitment, with meeting all the diversity targets, etc., came through digital and referral. What are the good metrics which lead a better EVP for you in the market? High internal promotions. Number 2, many lateral moves, that there are opportunities. Remember, limiting career path is the biggest reason why people are quitting. So many lateral moves. Number 3, higher average performance rating. Everybody wants to work in a company where their colleagues are smart and doing good work. Nobody wants to work in a dumb, lazy company. 4, closer to market compensation ratios. These are the things which make the job easier for you. On the left-hand side are the things which make difficult for you. But trust me, this aspect of market, this thing, if you are much stronger on this, people will sacrifice this. If you're bad on that, people will come for this. That's the correlation. You cannot substitute a culture over time with high salaries. Culture has to get you a premium. When I was in Nokia and I used to go to present to the board would be 12 people, you have to send 2 pages to them, 1 hour interview. And the first 2-3 years when I was CEO, I would say, India is a hot talent market, we need to pay high, we need to have more salary increase, etc. And the board would consistently ask me, and I learned a big lesson. They would say, okay, Shiv, that might be the fact. Can you please tell us, what are you doing to ensure that the Nokia culture in India gets a premium? Can we discuss that, please? That's a very tough question for a CEO to answer. Not easy at all. When somebody challenges you to say, show me a premium on your culture, what does that mean? I'll tell you, it's not easy. But we need to spend time on that. And so, my last slide for you is, I want you to think about talent acquisition as moving to TAJ. Okay, a simple acronym where I look at it as talent attractiveness journey and not talent acquisition alone. What is this journey about? The journey is about awareness to acceptance. Somebody is aware of a job in your company, approaches you, talk to him, you get him accepted. That's the first part. Awareness, the 3 A's. Second A is absorbing the candidate in the company and its ways by having a great onboarding program. I can't tell you the correlation between an outstanding onboarding program and commitment of the employee, the new employee. And the third one, actually behave gracefully and properly when he or she leaves, anybody. When he or she leaves, let him be an ambassador to the company. Most companies today in the last 5-10 years have recognized the power of the alumni network. They have recognized that. If you have a good ambassador who is an alumni, it's quite likely that he will refer a lot of talent to you. On the other hand, if you have a bad ambassador who is an alumni, he will not get you good talent. And his word in the marketplace will actually take out a lot of good talent which is coming to you. So in summary, talent acquisition, retention, etc. has been a top 5 thing. There's absolutely no doubt about it. And it will always be there in my book. The relationship between an employer and an employee has changed, and has changed significantly over the last 10 years. There's again absolutely no doubt about it. Okay? If you look at why people stay in a company, movement and security are very, very important. Job security will be even more important as more and more companies face challenges. Okay? I don't know how in your company you can communicate that. Okay? If you look at the candidate experience, it's a broken process. And that broken process is what is getting reflected in your rating on Glassdoor. So if you want to change the perception of your organization or your brand as an employer, fix the candidate experience, the CX. Okay? Hiring ads are terrible these days. I showed you the hiring ads. Okay? I showed you Tata Click, and I showed you the hiring ads. CVs are a commodity. The challenge for all of us is to pick the jewel CV in a sea of sameness and junk CVs. That's the real big challenge for us. In terms of the TA metrics, think on the right-hand side. How much of your company is on the right-hand side, and what can the CEO, CHRO, and the talent acquisition manager do? And talent acquisition is not about just selecting a person and para-dropping him into a company. It's selecting him, it's onboarding him, and also saying a fond farewell as in when he leaves your company. Okay, it's the full life cycle management which will actually make you a very good talent management manager, as well as a talent management CHRO, as well as a talent management CEO. So that's all I have to say, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much for your time and attention. All the very best.